Regular viewers of my channel will be aware that while I have featured conversions in my videos in the past, I've only really started to focus on them as my main form of content over the last year or so. But even before I shared my ideas and methods with you, I've always tinkered away with mixing kits together and building up my bits boxes. There's just something incredibly rewarding in creating something that the instruction booklet didn't show you how to do. Sure, it requires extra work and it often costs a little bit more, but it's ultimately a great way to really put a unique spin on your own collection. Ever since I first started collecting Warhammer, I've always tried to do some sort of kit bashing. At first, I did it to save myself a bit of money. It was cheaper to buy 5 tactical marines and smush them together with leftover parts from a plastic Space Marine commander, rather than picking up a set of tyrannic war veterans. But this interest in conversions grew over time, and so did my desire to push things a little further, which leads me to the title of this video. Now, I often get asked the question, what is your favourite conversion? Most people would understandably think that it would be something from my recent builds, something that's maybe a little more complex or something that has a cool looking result. But actually, my favourite conversion is something that I built after only a few years of being into Warhammer 40k. And that conversion is here. This is my father Orcamus along with his jet sleigh, and given the time of year, I thought it was a good time to finally feature this guy. I built this in the winter of 2006, or at least that's when I think it was. My only frame of reference is that I used some Noblars in the conversion. These were released in 2005, and I received the Ogre Kingdom's Battle Force for Christmas that year. This meant that I would have had some of these Noblars in my collection for the subsequent Christmas of 2006. But the reason I actually built this guy was because of a competition being held at my local Games Workshop. The competition required a Father Orcamus and sleigh to be built that would be used to participate in a Christmas-themed special scenario, which saw the various Father Orcamuses zipping around the tabletop to collect and deliver their gifts. I built this conversion using the old Orc truck as a basis. I stripped out the wheels and drivetrain from underneath and replaced it with a new structure built from Dozer Blade support struts. The propulsion system was constructed from a Lehman Russ battle cannon, alongside some vents from the old Cities of Death scenery. The top side of the sleigh had the section between the driver and the flatbed removed, and I added a couple of searchlights to the front armor panel. I was kind of channeling the jet sleigh from How the Grinch Stole Christmas at this point. Finally, the sleigh was given some firepower to help deter those on the naughty list. This was in the form of an Imperial Guard vehicle-mounted Stormbolter, and of course, everything is painted red. After all, Father Orcamus has a lot of stops to make, so he will want to go as fast as he can. At the time of building this, the plastic Gretchen kit didn't yet exist, so I dipped into my Noblars and used them as pseudo-elves to help assist the Father Orcamus. These short assistants can be found dishing out weapons to lucky recipients and attempting to steer the sleigh. The big man himself was constructed from a mixture of Warhammer Fantasy and 40k boys, with his toy sack and hat being sculpted from green stuff. It was all fairly basic conversion work, but I had a huge amount of fun building it, and I was lucky enough to win first place in the conversion competition that the store was holding at the time. Now, even though the paint job is a bit basic, and some of the conversion work isn't as neat or as well done as something I could do today, it still remains one of my favourite conversions. It wasn't just a modification to a Space Marine or a plastic kit bash of a metal or resin model. It was something fun and something a bit stupid. While I've been tempted to clean up the paint job a little, I've always decided not to. It's a snapshot of where I was in my hobby at that age, and I wanted to preserve it. I can compare my more recent work to it and see how far I've come in my conversion and painting abilities. It's something I'd recommend to you, as keeping a few of your old models hanging around is a good way to track your progress as a miniature modeler. Now, this wasn't my usual kind of video, but it was nice to be able to share with you something from my past and something that I am still extremely fond of, and I hope you enjoyed it and can look past the slightly clickbaity nature of this video. It's also a kind of unofficial celebration of the channel reaching 90,000 subscribers, so thank you to everyone who subscribed and has allowed me to edge ever closer to that coveted 100,000 mark. Now, whatever you're celebrating at this time of year, I hope that you have a good one and you get to spend some time on your hobby. So until next time, thanks for watching goodbye.